Hello, this is FG back with the finale. I did figure out what you needed to do. You need to have, I believe, no provinces with devastation, but quite frankly, I cannot be bothered to sit around and do that. So I just fired the event manually. A few days' ride from the town of Fasco, Glen, a three-quarter circle of long-abandoned buildings huddle around a clearing in the forest. One or two of them have collapsed under the weight of snow, or from the rot that has infested many of the logs that keep them standing. Imriel could barely recognize the place, even though centuries ago in that hut right over there she had been born. Her family were sedentary, a rarity back then, especially in Gemradcurt, but ever more common once the Hibernal Crusade started. Now nearly all Snegboth lived like Imriel's family had. She made sure of it. Imriel struggled through the snow, her footsteps heavy, until at last she came to her old home. As she entered, she could practically hear the sound of her parents chatting away. They loved to talk, often about the most random things, about how proud they were of her, of how great she was, how powerful she'd be one day. Her mother's gentle smile, her father's beaming eyes, she remembered when the Tagan Order first found her, the last time she saw them alive. They'd both been killed by the Toothlok, and our home was gone too. The town had been abandoned during the Hibernal Crusade, but it looked like it had at one point been reconverted into a hideout by Snegboth guerrillas. Weapons and armor discarded around the room, most rusted beyond use, her old ornate furniture replaced by military equipment. On the wall there was a message, written in red, not blood, but paint. Resist, it said. Imriel wished, beyond hope. No, this wasn't from the Hibernal Crusade. This was from the Red Winter. She placed a hand to the paint, breathed hard, and hung her head, another victim of her ambition, her pride. She wondered if, had she not taken the prince's offer in this town in the middle of nowhere, would she still be alive? Or if it had been just another Toothlok military camp, or if it had been blasted to ashes. A voice awoke Imriel from her musings. I thought you'd be done. Imriel turned to her benefactor, standing in the doorway beside her. If I had something I needed to tell you, but you'd need the time. I had something I needed to tell you, but if you need the time... The Lady Mother shook her head, forcing a smile. Then in that case, I'd like to tell you this. Our pact is fulfilled. Imriel raised an eyebrow, shocked. You have crafted a winter eternal, a realm which the snow always covers the ground, in which all may feel the embrace of cold. There is nothing more I can ask of you. Well done. The Archfey smiled. If you ever need me, just call out and I will be there. Farewell, my friend. And with that, the Everfront's prince turned and walked away. She looked back at the graffiti, staring at it in silence. And Imriel was alone. She still remembered that dream from all those years ago, when she had climbed to the tip of the frost spear and for miles she had seen the destruction of man. She had wondered, and wondered still, whether that future had been avoided by her taking the prince's hand. She remembered what the dragon had told her in Sivamel about her becoming a god. He was right. Her influence reached across every house and person and nation, from Erechpun to Dalachigos. A portrait in every home, an informant on every street. The Snegboth did not used to have gods. They did not used to live in one place. They did not used to control Erechpun or Dalachegos. She had changed all that, brought unparalleled success to her people, and changed them, changed every bit of them, changed even the very land itself. She stood now in her office at the tip of the spire of metal and glass and ice and timber, and looked through a crystal clear window, her gaze falling across a land forever cast in snow. Was it so implausible that she could command her people's souls without ruling over a realm of the dead? Was that within her power too? Imriel shook her head. A mother of death. That is what she sought to avoid all those years ago. She remembered that much. She had made an oath. But since then it all seemed that all people did was accuse her of being one, and they were right. She was the mother of death. She had brought death and destruction to her own people and others. She had cleaved her nation in two during the Red Winter, crushed the nations of the south and the east, and worst of all, she killed completely the old Snegboth way of life. That last part weighed on her most. How couldn't it? She had murdered everything. She had murdered the very thing she'd sworn to protect. But had she not replaced it with something better? She had undoubtedly so brought peace, prosperity, and security to her nation, to all her subjects. There would never be another hibernal crusade, another red winter. No Snegboth child would be made into an orphan by a marauding band of autumnal soldiers. And if they were made an orphan by Imriel's hand by necessary action, couldn't she do something about that? Take them in? Give them new purpose, like the Balladeer? Couldn't she help them where they needed it? Propel her people to greater heights still? Imriel knew one thing. As long as she stood, she would never again let inaction imperil the people of the North. Never again. And let that be the new oath of Winter's wrath. Forever and forever she would stand, and forever she would rule and protect and keep watch over this thing that so many had shed blood to fulfill. The Lady Mother of Winter, ruling over a world under darkness, and our winter eternal. So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to read out those last two events. I hope everyone's had a good time watching it. I'll probably be recording another series, maybe a 50 subscriber special, since I feel like that would be nice. In case anyone was wondering, eventually I would have gotten the event. It would have just taken me years to do so. All of these. Yep, there. 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 But yes, I believe you have to have 0 provinces with devastation, which I sort of stopped caring about devastation at once I started conquering this area, Dalier. Yeah, basically the same for all these areas. I will pull up my map. See, everything is covered. Okay, I'd need to get these two, but here, I'll build forts. So those would all be done. This has nothing. This one's getting a fort built. This has a fort. This has a Lesser Hearth Ward, and it's getting a fort built. Yep. So that's it. This is FG with the final episode of Gemradcurt. Thanks for watching.